Hello viewers, and welcome to yet another Warhammer 40,000 Conquest video production. My name is Mitch, and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today, I'm happy to bring you yet another commentated match featuring Sam Mann against a friend of his, Eugenio, user EU8, L1CH. So a little bit of lead speak going on. We've got Sam playing Captain Cato Sicarius of the Space Marines, and Aun'shi is going to be piloted by Eugenio. This is actually the first time I've ever managed to witness an Aun'shi match. At the present moment, both of our players are deciding whether or not they want to mulligan. Taking a look at our planet layout, we've got Eluith at planet number 1. It allows searching the top 3 cards for any card. We have Karnath, which triggers any battle ability as planet number 2, Barlas at 3, which discards a card at random, Ossus 4, which steals resources at position number 4, and our 5th planet is currently Planum, which allows the shifting of non-warlord units of anyone's choice. It looks like Eugenio, our Aun'shi player, has decided to mulligan. Captain Cato Sicarius, piloted by Sam, of course, is going to be generating additional resources, whereas Aun'shi confers each Tau unit present at his planet Armorbane. A few different things we can expect from our Aun'shi player are Ximian orbital cities to allow him to, after he returns to the HQ, go to a target planet of his choice to potentially fight multiple battles during the same round, to potentially snipe off multiple command units, if not outright win battles completely. Kauyan Strike also is an event that allows ethereals to move all over the board, and for Cato, we're going to be seeing daunting Space Marine units like the Blood Angels veterans that shrug off damage, the difficult to target. Speak of Blood Angels veterans, right here we see one deployed to planet number 1. Initiative is in the hands of our Aun'shi player. We've seen a Vashya Trailblazer played by him to planet number 3. Something I've heard before is to try to delay 2 command units as long as possible, and just to try to make the utmost of your command by deploying like a low command icon value units first, and then reserving your 2 command units to trump command. So even though I can't see these players' hands, I would imagine that our Aun'shi player probably doesn't have any rogue traders or void pirates. Otherwise, he'd have probably been more likely to play something like that. Looks like Cato is being aggressive in regard to our very first planet. He's got his Blood Angels veterans deployed there. It does happen to have a technology icon blue, but the earliest that any player could win the game through technology is planet number 5, and just given the relative scarcity of planet icons, it's looking like this is going to be a pretty long game. The earliest any player would be able to win is indeed planet number 5, whether it's through strong point or technology, so green or blue, and it looks like our Space Marine really desperately wants to win this first first planet, just because we also see an Honored Librarian touchdown at the first planet. We've seen a recon drone deployed to planet number 5 where it's safe. It takes up the Aun'shi player's limited slot. He's currently down to 1 resource, 4 cards after playing a Viorla Warrior Cadre at planet number 2. So it's a 4-3 for 4 that gains ranged as soon as he controls an ethereal unit at that planet. Of course, Aun'shi himself counts as an ethereal, and 4 Armorbane is extraordinarily nasty, so this is going to set him up in a pretty favorable position for the next round, just because if Aun'shi touches down at that planet, he could obliterate this Blood Angels veterans, and then there wouldn't be much more than this Honored Librarian to tear through, depending on where Cato goes. Looks like we're currently choosing where to commit Warlords. I could see Cato easily going to planet 2 or 3 or 5. He's definitely going to try to want to win command. It looks like he does decide to go to planet number 5. He's going to be able to shift a non-warlord unit of his choice. It's almost certainly going to be this Viorla Warrior Cadre. We happen to see Aun'shi go to planet number 2, so he's going to win command at a total of 2 planets. It's kind of a curious choice for the Aun'shi player, just because normally you'd want to send your warlords to someplace where you'd snag command. Looks like Sam ends up reeling in 3 cards, 1 resource, as does our Aun'shi player. That's pretty fantastic for our Space Marine, just getting a lot of cards, because normally Cato does not struggle when it comes to resources. Our combat phase currently begins. We're going to see if our Vashyah Trailblazer is going to be moving anywhere. Looks like the battle at the first planet is all but certainly going to be won by our Space Marine player. We don't know what our Tau player is allied with. I suppose it could be Space Marines. We could see something like an eager recruit drop in at the first planet, but that seems like it would be a tremendous waste. First planet is indeed captured by Sam. He gets to activate that battle ability to search the top 3 cards of his deck for any 1 card, add it to his hand, put the remaining cards on the bottom of his deck in any order. Karnath is, of course, going to be won by Aun'shi. And what planet is he going to pick? He could discard a card from Sam's hand. Looks like he's going to trigger Ossus 4 to steal a resource from Sam. Sam is down to 1 resource, 9 cards in hand. Aun'shi has 3 resources, 7 cards. It's going to be very important for Aun'shi to get all of his critically important combo pieces. Things like the Orbital City, things like Kalyan Strike, the Ennui Prelate that ambushes into play and can deal out armor bane damage, ambush platform so he can drop ion rifles into play on like a Viorla marksman to do ranged armor bane, all kinds of nasty stuff like that. Looks like Captain Cato Sicarius is going to be activating a battle at this 5th planet, and he's going to get a free swing on this recon drone, and unless our Aun'shi player wants to waste a 2 shield card, then this recon drone is going to be obliterated, and it's going to be a free resource for Sam. It looks like that recon drone is destroyed, so even though that was free, it certainly didn't do very much for Aun'shi. In triggering that planet's battle ability, it looks like Sam is almost certainly just going to be moving this warrior cadre maybe to planet number 4, just to get it far, far away from anything. Or actually, I suppose he's going to be triggering Planum to move his Honored Librarian to Karnath. Really, the only trick here is that this Viorla Warrior Cadre, if Aun'shi is sent to that planet, will have ranged. So maybe Cato could eat 1 attack, maybe an Eager Recruit or a 10th Company Scout could eat an attack, but in any case, it looks like combat is over. Our players draw cards and resources. Theron is now our new 5th planet. It allows the routing of non-warlord units. And yet another very weak planet when it comes to icons. We see Sam with 5 resources, 10 cards. As our Space Marine player, deploy a Void Pirate to our new 5th planet. That'll be worth a grand total of 2 resources, 1 card, all by itself, should he win command there. Our Tau player presently has 7 resources and 9 cards, which both players have plenty of different options available to them, but let's see what exactly our Tau player does. Looks like we end up seeing another copy of the Vashyah Trailblazer played opposite the Void Pirate on planet number 5, which is a pretty fantastic play. Not only does it deny Sam those resources, those cards, but it also awards those potentially for our Tau player. We see a Tactical Squad Cardenas touchdown on planet number 1, Karnath, which could trigger any battle ability in play. It's got Area Effect 1. That could be pretty potent if we start to see a large number of units played out by our Tau player. At the present moment, it looks like Sam is now winning command on the first planet. There's guaranteed to be a battle taking place there. Seeing as how Sam currently possesses our initiative token, it's absolutely integral that I suppose if Aun'shi wants this unit to survive, that it needs to be deployed there. We see an Aun'shi's Sanctum that for some reason I don't have the image pack installed, and that is exhausted to ready a target unit at a planet with one or more ethereal units. So it basically could allow this Viorla warrior cadre to attack twice. Just as soon as it attacks, if Aun'shi is there, it's not only attacking during range, but it would get a second attack. Sam plays a Sicarius' chosen at planet number 2, reels this Viorla warrior cadre away from planet number 1, so it looks like he's likely to win Karrnath uncontested, and now Barlas is looking like, I don't know, he's got this Sicarius' chosen there, there's that wounded warrior cadre there. It's not going to have ranged unless Aun'shi again moves to that planet, but being able to get off now 2 ranged shots is very nasty. Seeing that signature support can't be fantastic for Sam. Unfortunately, Space Marine players have no means whatsoever of removing supports from play at the present moment, and we still do not know what our Tau ally is, if anything. We also have no idea whether or not Sam is allied with Astra Militarum or Tau, so it all kind of remains to be seen at this point. At the present moment, our Space Marine player has 0 resources remaining and 8 cards, whereas our Tau player has 3 resources and 7 cards. We're currently waiting to see what he's going to do in regard to deployment. When it comes to committing warlords to planets, we've still got this Blood Angels veteran sitting in the HQ. From last turn, this Honored Librarian was shifted to a planet, so it need not arrive exhausted. I could easily see Cato potentially going to planet number 2, but then the danger there is, I suppose, Aun'shi arriving at that planet, conferring Armor Bane to our cadre, and then it attacking at ranged. So I would almost imagine that Cato would want to go to planet number 5, but then that's going to prevent him from putting this Blood Angels veterans at someplace agreeable. We see a deception from our Tau player, an event that bounces that Honored Librarian back to Sam's hand, and now we see a very timely copy of Promotion come out atop this Void Pirate. I can only imagine that Sam has to pass at this point, but that is allowing our Void Pirate to trump command. Now Sam no longer need worry about sending Cato to planet number 5, which wouldn't have been a very decent play anyway. So whether or not Sam is going to send Cato to maybe Ossus or maybe to Planum kind of remains to be seen. I could certainly see him doing that same trick again, moving a unit from his HQ to the new first planet. In regard to Aun'shi, it's definitely going to be a reasonable decision for him to go to planet number 2, just to try and make sure that he can kill off some of these Space Marine units, maybe force Sam to discard a card, maybe win cards of his own, but then again, that Vashiya Trailblazer won't be doing much in a command sense for him, so that's kind of wasting a lot of those icons before he can mobile that unit away. I could also see him trying to gain additional resources from Ossus, not only winning command, but stealing additional resources. He could try and kill off this tactical squad to trigger any ability he'd like, which would include routing a target unit. He could get rid of that Void Pirate. He could get rid of some formidable Space Marine combatant. But I can only imagine he wants to try to conserve these 4 resources he's invested in the warrior cadre. Alright, looks like we also see an Earthcast Technician to planet number 3. Our Tau player is now completely out of resources, but he gets the opportunity to win command at this planet, seeing as how there's now absolutely nothing that Sam can do to oppose him, and he gets to search for what ends up being a gun drones revealed and added to his hand. At the present moment, he doesn't have any means of ambushing that into play, but seeing as how Armor Bane, ranged, and area effect all stack, that could be extraordinarily nasty indeed. And seeing as how up until recently Sam was kind of creating quite the contingent or retinue alongside his warlord, that could potentially set him up pretty unfavorably at some point. Seeing as how the warrior cadre can gain ranged and Armor Bane, it would be a pretty decent contender for that attachment there. Looks like we've got to set our command dials. We're presently waiting on our Tau player. I'm not exactly sure where Sam is going to go. I think the tactical squad is pretty much guaranteed to win command at planet number 1. I could see Sam likely deploying to planet number 3 or 4. Perhaps number 3, just to try and choke out his opponent of resources and cards. Looks like our Tau player has now decided. I'm thinking, wow, I guess Sam surprises me by going to Karnath. I'm not surprised to see Aun'shi go to planet number 2, just so he can try to preserve the life of this Viorla warrior cadre. Looks like this Sicarius has chosen his forfeit, but Sam is going to have the opportunity to win the battle ability here. Sam ends up reeling in 2 cards and 3 resources, as does our Tau player. Sam currently sitting at 3 resources, 10 cards, compared to 2 resources, 8 cards for our Tau player. And it looks like we've got 2 mobile units on the board. Where are they going to go? It only makes sense that they can try to relocate themselves, like this Vashya Trailblazer at planet number 5 is almost certainly going to want to shift away from this 3-command Void Pirate. And then, of course, we've also got this Vashya Trailblazer at planet number 2 that, you know, it's going to be set up favorably for this next round here. So it looks like Sam is going to be winning this very first planet. He's going to actually be able to trigger a battle ability. I can only assume he's going to use Farron in order to rout this Viorla warrior cadre. So he gets to bounce that back to... Oh no, I suppose that's kind of surprising. He's choosing to starve his opponent of resources, so he's trying to deprive Aun'shi of all of his different combo pieces. If memory serves, the Xemian Orbital City costs 3, Kalyan Strike costs 2, and those are both cards that allow Aun'shi or any ethereal to go from headquarters back to planets to continue harassing. So it looks like Sam has decided to give up the life of this Sicarius' chosen. I feel if I were in Sam's shoes, I'd have likely gone with Farron to rout this warrior cadre, but he's certainly got much more experience than I. The Viorla warrior cadre, of course, with ranged, ends up destroying that copy of Sicarius' chosen. We see Aun'shi's Sanctum trigger to ready the Viorla warrior cadre, just in case Sam had Drop Pod Assault or Eager Recruit, so that it's ready to blow something up. Looks like the battle at this planet is going to be done. Sam randomly discards a copy of Honored Librarian, which really hurts to see go. I'm curious as to whether that was the copy that was deceptioned back to his hand, or whether it was something else. That brings us to the end of combat. Headquarters phase now activates. Our new 5th and final planet of the game, our 7th planet, is Taurus. So this is whichever player has fewer units. If they win a battle here, they get their pick between 3 cards and 3 resources. At the present moment, looks like our Tau player has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units in total relative to Sam's 4 units, so he's definitely going to want to be mindful of that, just because that would be a lot of potential resources to help out Aun'shi enable all of his different combos here. We see recon drones hit play at planet number 4, so 4 command icons bests this 3-icon Void Pirate. The Talisarian Tempest Blade touches down, attached to Cato. He's now attacking for 3. He's got a Relic, he's got Armor Bane, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Our initiative token is now with our Aun'shi player. Our new first planet is indeed Barless. That warrior cadre is sitting there. If Aun'shi happens to head there, they'll have ranged, they'll have initiative. Really, the only kind of ranged unit we might see from Sam is if he happens to be allied with Astra Militarum, if we see something like a Rattling Deadeye, but without the assistance of any kind of event like, a support like Catachan Outpost, then the warrior cadre is going to be absolutely unmolested. And like I said, initiative token is in the hands of our Tau player. I believe we see a Borkon recruits touchdown on planet number 3, and at the present moment looks like the earliest the game could end is indeed planet number 3, just because Sam won't have access to 3 technology icons until he finally gets and wins a battle at that planet, so our current planet 1 and 2 are forfeit for all Sam cares. It looks like we see Sam deploy an Imperial Fist's Siege Force at planet number 4. It's a 2/2 with 1 command icon, and it routes that recon drone, so that's pretty nice. Not only does it have a command icon of its own, but it now allows Sam to win command at this planet in all likelihood. Sam is down to 5 resources, 9 cards, which is still quite a lot. Our Tau player puts out an Honor Blade attached to Aun'shi, so both players have their signature attachments in play now. Tau player has 2 resources, 7 cards. This Honor Blade allows each other Tau unit present at Aun'shi's planet to gain Armor Bane and +1 attack, and that's an important shield card now gone. We see a Void Pirate played by Sam to our new 5th planet, and that now is going to allow him 2 cards and 2 resources. So what is next from our Tau player? We certainly see Sam wanting to try to win this new planet number 3. The Borkon recruits are sitting there. They do happen to get +2 attack while at a planet with a Warlord, but if Sam happens to send his Warlord there, which would be a pretty wise decision, if Aun'shi does not go to that planet, then the initiative will be in Sam's hand, and he can wipe that unit off the battlefield without any effort at all, and he'll be depositing the TAC squad and the Blood Angels veterans at that planet to potentially win him the game, which would be absolutely fantastic. We've seen no eager recruits, we've seen no drop pod assaults from Sam, and those are both very deadly event and ambush unit respectively. For our Tau player, we haven't seen any nastiness like a Kalyan strike. This Viorla warrior cadre, I can only assume, is going to end up in the headquarters at the end of the phase here. Looks like our Tau player is indicating he's going to have to be a little bit risky. He's running pretty low on resources, but what exactly can we expect from him? We know for a fact that he's still got that gun drones in hand. I suppose if Aun'shi wants to send himself to this planet number 3, he can have the initiative there. The Borkon recruits will have a grand total modified 5 attack value, but that's not enough to take out Cato in a single attack. We could see an ennui prelate if he ends up having enough resources to play it. It does cost 4, but it would, played at planet number 3, give an additional +1 attack, and that would be 6 Armor Bane, which could bloody Cato in a single Armor Bane shot. We do happen to see a Viorla Marksman played at planet number 3 that does have ranged, but our Tau player no longer has enough resources in hand to end up putting out a copy of gun drones. So that one ranged, I mean, this could be a fantastic opportunity for Sam to pick off this marksman before it becomes a problem. And the same goes with that Borkon recruits. So we'll have to see how combat ends up going this turn. We do see a copy of Sicarius' Chosen that's going to pull the Viorla warrior cadre away from planet number 1. So maybe Sam is simply wanting to allow that planet to go uncontested and just disappear. I can't imagine that he's going to be sending himself there, just because it seems like of the utmost importance that he's going to want to win, the battle at this 3rd planet. We'll have to see if our Eldar, or if our Tau player is going to shield against this warrior cadre, taking 1 point of damage from the Chosen. If he does not shield, as our chat is indicating, it could allow Sam the opportunity to play a Crushing Blow to boost up that single point of damage to a lethal 2. Crushing Blow does deal unpreventable damage, so this is a little bit of a slow game, but we'll have to see what the outcome happens to be. It looks like our Tau player is being a little bit risky, and he is immediately punished for being a bit ballsy. Sicarius' Chosen deals 1 damage, and Crushing Blow is the perfect response in that Space Marine has damaged an enemy unit, and it now takes 1 unpreventable damage. So, through 2 Sicarius' Chosen and a 0-cost Crushing Blow, the warrior cadre is destroyed, and now I can only imagine that Sam is going to be sending his forces to the 3rd planet. It seems like it would only make sense for Aun'shi to oppose him there, just to try to leverage as much, as he can to try and just stop this. I guess Aun'shi's Sanctum can target any unit so long as Aun'shi goes there, so Aun'shi has 6 cards in hand. It's possible that if both warlords go to that 3rd planet, we could see 2 5-swing attacks from this Borkon recruits, but then again, the problem is Cato happens to be dealing armor bane damage. At the present moment, looks like no player is going to be winning command for our 1st planet, but our 2nd planet is going to be 2 resources for our Tau player. I suppose our 3rd planet would be another resource for our Tau player. That would be enough for an Ennui Prelate. It would put him at least 4, and if that happens to be the case, if that Prelate hits the table, it's going to boost up that Borkon recruits to 6, which will bloody Cato in 1 shot. It means that Marksman would be shooting for 3 armor bane in a single shot. So that would be the Tac Squad gone, it would be Sicarius gone, so that would be pretty powerful. Looks like we see another Viorla Marksman. I can only imagine that this means there is no Ennui Prelate in hand, because it's being deployed to planet number 2. So I suppose maybe Aun'shi is going to, I can't imagine why he'd go to planet number 2. But we'll have to see what happens here. At the present moment, Sam only has 1 resource, 6 cards, versus 0 resources, 5 cards for the Tau player. Looks like Sam has decided to pass. 0 resources, I can't think of anything that our Aun'shi could play, unless he's got maybe a promotion. I can't recall if he played that recon drone this turn. And now it's time to decide. I'm going to imagine both players will do planet number 3, but that could be a big mistake for Sam. He's certainly going to earn a few resources to pay for something like a drop pod assault, but we'll see. Without having that prelate to worry about, that could allow him to set up for a decisive victory. If he can clear out maybe this ranged unit, that would be great. And our Tau player has decided. Let's go ahead and see where they've selected to commit on their servo skulls. We see planet number 1 with Sam. I guess he's being a little bit conservative. And we see Aun'shi go to planet number 4, I suppose. Color me ever so slightly surprised. Sam has chosen to win each and every planet possible. He is wanting to discard cards at random to maybe end up getting something good. And of course, Aun'shi wants to trump this 4 command and then set himself up the following turn to win additional command. Sam ends up pulling in 4 cards and 1 resource relative to our Tau player's 1 card and 5 resources, which is going to be a hell of a lot to fund all kinds of different nasty events. So it looks like there's going to be a battle at the first planet. Sam is entirely uncontested, but winning a strong point does really absolutely nothing for him. There's no mobility going on. Barless is going to cause a random card discard. Sam can only hope for something like an Orbital City or a Kauyan Strike. It ended up being an ion rifle, which is going to be pretty great because that Viorla Marksman or something like that, attacking for 4, 5, maybe 6 with a prelate armor bane at range is just terrifying. And now Tau has an abundance of resources with which to fund something like a gun drones affixed to either copy of this Viorla Marksman. So things are suddenly looking down, I think, for Sam. Theron is going to allow a unit to be routed. The Vashia Trailblazer ends up destroying that Imperial Fist siege force. It attacks for 2 Armor Bane, thanks to Aun'shi, thanks to the Honor Blade. The Void Pirate has to attack. Doesn't really matter what it attacks because it has a paltry 0 for its attack value. We see Aun'shi take a swing. It's almost certainly going to be destroying that Void Pirate. Sam does allow it to be destroyed, and now Aun'shi bounces back to his HQ, but this lingering recon drone and Vashia Trailblazer means Farron is going to be won. There are 2 different options that we could see routed. There could be Sicarius' Chosen routed, or there could be the Void Pirate routed. In all likelihood, he might leave the Sicarius' Chosen here just so he could maybe dump out that copy of gun drones on the Viorla Marksman at our new, soon-to-be planet number 1 to hit Sicarius' Chosen with that volley, but I can only imagine that the gun drones is going to go to this Viorla Marksman at planet new, soon to be number 2, just because that is indeed Sam's victory condition, and Aun'shi is going to want to block that at any and all costs. It's starting to look very nasty for Sam, whether he goes to planet number 1 or 2, just because there's a ranged unit there, and really, if he forgoes, say, this planet Planum, the earliest that he'd be able to win the game alternatively might be, I suppose there's no technological means of doing so. If he wins all the strong point locations, again, that's planet number 3 for victory. If instead he tries to win planet number 4 and 5, that could allow him a victory. The trouble here is that Aun'shi will have to win every remaining planet in order to win the game. He'll have to win, through strong point, and that would require all of these planets, or killing Cato outright, which is looking more and more possible as we start to see all of these attack boosting effects. We see our headquarters phase come and go. We're now at the deploy phase. Currently, Sam is sitting on the initiative token. He's got 6 resources, 12 cards, relative to Aun'shi's 9 resources, 7 cards. And Aun'shi's got a very formidable army out here on the table. We see, I believe, our 3rd copy of Sicarius' Chosen, and quite wisely, this is an incredible play. Sicarius' Chosen pulls away the Viorla Marksman from our now 2nd planet, which is Sam's victory condition. So only having a Borcon recruit sitting there without the initiative being in the hands of our Tau Warlord, that easily could have helped Sam win the game, just because now every single ranged attacker is at our 1st planet, and it absolutely does not matter if Sam loses that planet. The Tau has yet to win a single world, so if he manages to capture that strong point, I'm sure Sam is fine getting rid of that 1 resource, just because if all of these units are arriving tapped out at our following round's combat, that sets Sam up very, very nicely. Cato, like I mentioned before, he'll have initiative, he'll be able to clear the board of these Borcon recruits, and then at that point it doesn't matter that all of his other units are going to be arriving exhausted. He doesn't have many resources at the present moment, but that could change at any time. As soon as Cato starts clearing targets, he'll be able to generate resources to fund eager recruits, drop pod assaults, the Fury of Sicarius, all kinds of nasty different events and effects like that, various ambushing units. It's even entirely possible he might have veteran brother Barbarous in this deck. It looks like we see an Earthcast Technician deployed to planet number 2. It may not seem like much, but with Aun'shi present with his Honor Blade, it can swing for 2. We see yet another tutoring effect, end up digging up another copy of gun drones to be added to Aun'shi's hand, and we finally see our 1st copy of gun drones successfully deployed to a Viorla Marksman, of course the unwounded one, currently sitting at planet number 1, which is going to make it an incredibly high priority target, but it's also a fantastic deterrent preventing Sam from sending all of his units to the 1st planet, just because ranged area effect Armor Bane is incredibly nasty, and 2 damage to all of these units is just absolutely miserable. So At the present moment, our Tau player continues to think. He's got 6 resources, 6 cards in hand. Sam has an enormous 11 cards. There hasn't really been much battling taking place. There's not been hardly any cards spent as shields, if any. I don't know if there have been, if memory serves, but I can only predict that Sam will be going to planet number 2. Aun'shi, I could see going to planet number 4, just to deprive Sam of command there. It's possible that he could also go to planet number 2 just to try to get in, make sure that this Borkon Recruits has Armorbane, make sure it has plus to attack, and then it could enable, of course, the Aun'shi's Sanctum, so it could potentially attack twice. But, that's just not possible because Cato is going to be able to swing with his Tempest Blade and clear it out, so maybe Aun'shi himself can take a pot shot at a unit, but I almost imagine Aun'shi is instead just going to opt to try and win, maybe command at Taurus, but he could just as easily go to planet number 2, and he could have the Earthcast Technician, which will survive this initial attack that would clear out the Borkon Recruits. It could attack for 2 Armorbane, and then it could ready through Aun'shi's Sanctum. It could attack for another 2 Armorbane, and then Aun'shi himself could attack for 2, and then that would almost certainly get shielded, but then that would set Cato up to be very, very easily bloodied by something along the lines of a gun drones. And it looks like this Vashiaw Trailblazer receives a copy of gun drones, so it's almost certainly going to be mobility shifted over to Planum. Of course, he gets to wait until we see all the cards on the table to do that. The big shame here is that one of these powerful units is going to die at Cato's hand. I can only imagine Sam probably has an Indomitable in play, so I'm predicting that we'll see the Vashiaw Trailblazer shift over to where Cato is presumably going to be. Sam actually chooses to go to planet number 3, which takes me by surprise. I guess he's going to go for the extreme long game and try to win at our very last planet, potentially, or just, I guess, wait until next turn. So I suppose maybe it's just my amateur status showing or my naivete, but I guess I'm just having a hell of a time predicting where all of our warlords are going. Aun'shi goes to planet number 1, which to me seems like just total overkill, but he's going to keep trying to starve Sam of resources. We see our Tau player win 1 card, 3 resources. Sam instead pulls 2 cards, 3 resources. In regard to mobile units, looks like we've got a Vashiaw Trailblazer, presently shifting over to planet now, soon to be number 2. And of course, we have another Vashiaw Trailblazer at our current planet 3, soon to be planet 2. It's got a gun drones attached. It's gonna make a hell of a lot of sense for it to move away just because Captain Cato Sicarius has initiative. He's going to be clearing it. So whether he's killing the Trailblazer, whether he's killing the recon drones, something is certainly going to die. Alright, I guess we don't end up seeing any additional mobile. We've got a battle at the first planet. This Viorla Marksman attacks for 2 Armorbane versus Sicarius' Chosen. Of course, the Chosen has to take that damage, and the Viorla Marksman, it's looking, is now activating its area effect ability, which, circumvents Indomitable because it's not an attack. So 2 ranged Armorbane damage, of course, wipes that Sicarius' Chosen off the match. Looks like our Tau player steals 1 resource from our Space Marine. He's won his first planet of the game. He now has 1 strong point icon, and now he's got a headquarters absolutely full of units. So it's all gonna come down to either this soon-to-be new Planet 1, which is Sam's victory condition, or it's going to come down to planet number 4. We finally see a Kauyon strike, which is going to be moving 1 or more ethereal units to a target planet. Aun'shi is going to move to planet number 2. and that means he's going to be triggering another battle there, and he's going to be able to move a non-warlord unit to a planet of his choice. So he could pull the gun drones laden Viorla marksman. Okay, it looks like he's pulling that over to our present planet number 3, which is interesting. I suppose, seeing as how that unit is exhausted, we see another Kalyan strike. Okay, so that definitely takes me by surprise. Aun'shi makes another appearance, and he's presently alongside Cato. So Cato does happen to have the initiative token, but now all of these Tau units are going to be dealing out armor bane damage, and 2 of them do happen to have area effect. So let's hope for Sam's sake he's got a hand chock full of drop pod assaults and things like that, because it's going to be absolutely necessary for him to try and survive this. Let's see. I suppose, yeah, Aun'shi's Sanctum exhausts to ready the Viorla marksman, and that is going to really hurt. So this marksman is going to be able to do 2 area effect damage to each and every one of these units. The Blood Angels Veterans is currently exhausted, and that is so much damage to all of these Space Marine units. They're now at 1 hit point apiece. Is Cato going to take a swing and risk being bloodied? I suppose he's probably going to try and eliminate that Vashiala Trailblazer, right? So that is going to be wiped off the map. That's going to be 1 resource for Sam. This recon drones can attack for 1 armor bane. It's a fantastic opportunity to get rid of any of these Space Marine units or deal out another point of damage to Cato. What is he gonna do? Aun'shi himself is only going to be able to attack for 2, and as soon as he does attack, he has to leave the planet, and then this damage is no longer armor bane. The recon drone swings for 1, and it's going to end up killing off that Blood Angels veteran. And now it looks like it's going to be Aun'shi's opportunity to attack, unless we see some sort of Space Marine event. I believe Sam has indicated he does not have an event, so this game is kind of coming down to the wire. I'll just remind you, 6 resources for each player, but 13 cards in hand with our Space Marine. And Sicarius' Chosen is destroyed by Aun'shi. After Aun'shi resolves his attack, he returns to HQ. This Viorla marksman, range no longer matters. The recon drone drops back down to 0 attack, but the marksman still happens to have those gun drones attached. Cato still has the initiative, so he's going to be able to swing if he'd like, but we very wisely see a retreat from our Tau player. Both units end up leaving, and of course Farron is activated by Sam. He chooses quite wisely to exhaust that copy of Borkon recruits, and now there is just a tremendous number of units in our Tau players' headquarters. It's a damn shame that Sam does not have access to Doom based on his allegiance, which I don't think we've actually seen any AM or Tau faction cards from Sam yet. He's now sitting on 10 resources, 15 cards. It's going to be critically important that he probably try to win the game pretty soon. This is very daunting opposition he's up against. Our Tau player has 10 resources, 6 cards in total. He's now got the initiative token. We see a copy of Recon Drones touchdown at our new planet number 3. So our victory conditions as they currently stand are planet 1 for Sam or planet 3 for either player. And actually that's... Oh, wow. We see a Space Wolves Predator from Sam. So after you deploy this unit, your opponent cannot commit their Warlord to that planet unless that's the only planet in play. So it looks like Sam has just all but guaranteed that this 5/5 is going to be able to back him up. He's going to be able to send himself there to very much secure his victory condition. and all of these Tau units are going to have to arrive at planet number 2 or planet number 3. We see our Tau player calling out, "Well played." Sam, of course, quite humbly says, "Thank you." That totally took me by surprise. I'm curious to see if this is an outright GG from our Tau player, but he's deciding to continue pushing. The Borkon Recruits gets played at planet number 1, so I'm quite glad to see this game continue to hopefully a very epic end. It need not be over anytime soon. I was saying earlier, it looks like our Tau player can't actually win unless he takes planet number 1 and planet number 3, so it's either going to end all in this round, or it's going to be just an incredible slugfest. But it looks like Sam has decided to pass. He's got 3 resources and 14 cards. I can only imagine that is going to be a hell of a lot of events. We see an ion rifle played by our Tau player, and that's going out to our Vashia Trailblazer. So we've got this Borkon Recruits, which will be attacking for 4. Presuming that Cato is indeed going to be showing up at the first planet, that Trailblazer is now attacking for 4 and distributing all the more punishment or punishing capacity for all these different units. We also see a copy of gun drones affixed to an Earthcast technician, so just making all of these different targets really as nasty as possible. I'm curious to see if Cato ends up being just bloodied or blown apart. We see, of course, Sam commit to planet number 1. We see planet number 2 for Aun'shi. Kind of curious how this is all gonna boil down here. There are no ethereal units present at planet number 1, so that means Aun'shi's Sanctum isn't going to be doing too much good for Sam. Looks like he's got his Space Wolves Predator and Cato at planet number 1. Initiative will be in his hands. We end up seeing Sam take 1 card, 1 resource. Our Tau player gets 1 card, 3 resources. And it's all going to come down to this. This is likely to be the last battle of the game. A lot of Tau units sitting at this planet probably wishing that they could do anything to get over to Planum. But we're going to see a battle at Planum. No mobility from our Tau player, of course, whatsoever. Sam is going to be attacking with initiative. We see a copy of Tense Negotiations played by Aun'shi. He's going to be able to rout a target non-warlord unit, which means that Space Wolves Predator is indeed routed. So Sam is going to have to hope to high hell that he has a bunch of drop pod assaults and ambush units in his hand, but he's only got 4 resources, so he's certainly got an abundance of shields. None of these Tau units happen to have Armor Bane, but they've got very high attack value. Borkon Recruits is 4, Vashia Trailblazer is 4. Each and every copy of Indomitable is 1 resource that does not get to be spent on something like a drop pod assault. Cato eliminates that 4 attack Borkon Recruits in a single swing. He's going to generate an oh so critically important resource for himself. I can only imagine we're next going to see the Vashia Trailblazer return fire upon Cato, and hopefully for Sam's sake, he ends up with an Indomitable in hand. He's got an incredible 15 cards, only 22 remaining in his deck. 2 cards for our Tau player, 25 cards remaining in his deck, because all of his cards are out here deployed at the second planet. And let's see what we get. Our Tau player bemoans Indomitable, drop pods, 2 shields. He doesn't seem terribly thrilled with Sam's having 15 cards in hand, and he is bemoaning his chances as not looking tremendously good. But at least he was quite capably able to get rid of this Space Wolves Predator. We see an Ethereal Wisdom, so until the end of the phase, target Tau unit gets +1 attack, and Ethereal, so the Vashia Trailblazer is going to be attacking for 5, and it's now capable of being readied via Aun'shi's Sanctum, or this Earthcast Technician could do the same. So it's an attack of 5 coming toward Cato, and of course we see a copy of Indomitable to negate all of this damage entirely, which is pretty stellar, but of course Aun'shi's Sanctum can ready it once again. Are we going to see anything from Sam? We do happen to see an Eager Recruit. There's only one card in hand for our Tau player. Is it a 2 shield card? Is the Eager Recruit? I suppose either target is going to be destroyed. We've seen some of those Kauyon strikes. I think they're 2 shield cards. That isn't going to leave much. Looks like there's no action from our Tau player. The Eager Recruit, is he going to get rid of? He's picking the Earthcast Technician, which is destroyed. Its copy of Gun Drones is now gone. And the Vashia Trailblazer is... oh, God. I guess it's not going to be readied quite yet. Now it is readied. We do see another Eager Recruit touchdown. Sam still has 3 resources after his second Eager Recruit. The Vashia Trailblazer at this moment looks like it's all that the Tau player has going for it. It's 1 hit point, but it does happen to be attacking for 5. It takes a swing at Cato just to preserve its own honor. And of course, we happen to see another copy of Indomitable. Sam still has 11 cards in hand and 2 resources. Our Tau player only has 1 remaining card in hand. Our Eager Recruit is ready. It can swing, but we see our Tau player call out GG, so good game, well played. Looks like GG no re on behalf of our Tau player, but extraordinarily well played by both players. Thank you so much. I believe Eugenio is the Tau player's name. Very good game from Sam. Very good game from him. Captain Cato Sicarius versus Aun'shi. Once again, first game I've ever witnessed of Aun'shi, so fantastic to see him in action. These Eager Recruits ended up making all the difference. That Space Wolves Predator really came through for Sam. He has won the final planet. He's won by means of 3 technology icons. So at this point, our video has come to a close. I declare Sam Mann and Captain Cato Sicarius, our Space Marines, the winner. They have reigned triumphant, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel if you've not already done so. If you are already subscribed, as ever, you're encouraged to share this content, as the more people that happen to stumble across these videos, the more potential players we might draw to Conquest LCG, and as a result, serve not only to expand our community, but the more players, of course, that buy into this game, the more dollars we send toward Fantasy Flight Games, the more likely they are to expand the development team to continue producing this absolutely fantastic game. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to keep in touch with me, feel free to follow me on Twitter or follow my Facebook page, and if at any point you'd like to help me recoup some of my operating expenses and file hosting costs, I'd be absolutely honored were you to visit my Patreon. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to both of our players today, and as ever, be sure to check back in again soon for ever more Conquest LCG content to come.